Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to some Antics. It's good to see y'all. Today I'm joined by my friend Martin Bavio. Martin, hello.
Hey Ben, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to learn about Figma, and I'm excited to have you on. We did a bit of a like I don't really want to say dry run, but just simply making sure that the tech all worked yesterday. I was just really enjoying our conversation. I'm looking forward to spending the next hour with you. Um, as we dive into
Yeah,
this,
same here.
oh yeah, as we dive into this, would you introduce yourself for folks at home who might not know who you are?
Yeah, for sure. So you told my name. I'm actually Martin. I have an accent to the I in
Oh,
my name.
Martin.
That's kind of my secret power. Uh, I'm mostly a web developer. I've been doing web development for like more than like 10 years or something. But in the context of this talk, I've pursued trying to be more of a visual engineer than anything. So at some moment of my career, I wanted to kind of be a designer and actually worked as a designer for like 1 or 2 years for like UI UX mostly. And then I just went back to code because it was easier to deal with.
Hmm.
It's not easy to be designer. It seems like something that you could do by just having technical chops or the theory. But then when actually you start doing it, has a lot of things going
Yeah,
on. So yeah, I decided to focus on development, but I've always kind of kept my kind of visual eye alive. And yeah, Figma. So
yeah. So,
that's
since you've been a but like both a designer and a developer, I'd love to ask you, what is something about design you wish developers knew, and what is something about development that you wish designers knew?
uh well, that's a great question. Um, I think I love designers to know how hard it is sometimes to build the stuff that sometimes it seems like, because we're gonna see that like it's so playful to design on these tools because it's pretty straightforward and you have like, so being able like to then build that, it's not as easy as it seems. Uh, yeah, and in the opposite side, I'd love developers to actually kind of be more open minded sometimes with some design ideas that you something you want to push a barrier or want to kind of do something new. And sometimes developers tend to not like kind of the new things.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's mostly kind of a communication and empathy thing, which is always important when you're kind of crossing roles.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. That was a fantastic answer. Um,
Thank you.
Adrian's complimenting your purple background. She's saying it's very on brand for semantics. I agree. I realized
Yeah.
recently when I started doing the purple lights that, most guests do not come with purple lights. It was this moment of like, wait a second, am I making them stick out like a sore thumb? So I'm just really excited to have a guest on who also has purple lights. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. We're in the same shape.
yes, absolutely. So today will be a very purple day. I hope y'all at home don't mind the purple. Yeah, so today we're covering Figma. What is your experience with Figma?
Uh, Good question. So, like to be 100% honest, it's not the tool, the design tool I'm the most experienced with. Mostly because like my experience when I was doing design, I was actively using other tools because Figma was still not kind of on like the main player. So I was pretty good at like Illustrator, Photoshop, and Sketch. Sketch was kind of the main tool I was using when I was designing. Uh, the thing is that luckily Figma kind of got a lot from Sketch. They got a lot of inspiration, and they're still like Sketch is still active, but like Figma has kind of taken the throne in a way. But like they kind of share a lot of concepts, and like there are even shortcuts. So it was pretty easy for me when I had to kind of jump into Figma because I had some muscle memory from Sketch. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of my experience with Figma, mostly from like other tools, and I'm inheriting the knowledge, which is great, by the way.
All right. Yeah, so as for me, I have like no experience with Figma. Like I roughly have a good sense of what it is, but I've never really played around with it, and I'm sure it's one of those tools that has like limitless potential that like power users could just super exploit. So I'm excited to dive into this. Let me go ahead and
Yeah,
minimize
let's
this
do
and
it.
pull up some Figma. Let's dive right in. Um,
Yep.
so I've got Figma. What should I do?
Uh, okay, so let's start with first one kind of something that like is a goal for like the entire session. What I wanted to kind of focus on is like how to be able to use this as a developer, more like because you kind of are a developer, I want you to kind of, I don't know, throw some punches at a design tool and try to design something. So it's always nice to do that. That's kind of the context of the goal. The other important thing is that this tool is something where like you actually can be able to just play with it. So feel playful when you're using it. And if you make mistakes, that's great because like the tool is kind of
Mm,
designed in a way that if you make mistakes, you're gonna learn and you're gonna do it better. It's more it's like using Excel. You know when you use Excel and you make like a formula and you make a mistake and then you just go and change it.
yeah.
It's kind of the same here. You're gonna see the result right on screen. So yeah, that's kind of the intro. Now you're on kind of the homepage of Figma, and they give you some kind of history on what you've opened. So you can start by just clicking new on the top right. There you go.
And am I
So
creating a design file or a Fig Jam file?
yeah, we're gonna create a design file. FigJam is another thing that we can talk about in some other time, which is great, but not the goal right now. Okay, good.
There we go. I'll just stop that. Um, and then yeah, so
Okay.
I I'm sure that there's gonna be much playing around, but before we do, I understand that Figma, one of the cool things that people love about it is that it's very collaborative. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess before we even play around with any of the design stuff, how should we get started with the collaborative tools? Because I'd love for you to be able to join me in this design file.
absolutely. So, like as you said, like collaboration and real-time collaboration is one of the Figma key features. At least was at the beginning. So, if you click on the share, kind of there's kind of very prominent share, and like you need to kind of make it a part of like. But let's just look at like do it now, so I can only view. So, actually, if you send me the link or copy the
Yeah,
link, and maybe you send me on the chat, we could see other people actually cursors. That would be
there we go.
interesting.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's have anyone view. So if you've got Figma, come join us. Um,
Yeah,
and and then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out. Looks like you're viewing. Um,
I am.
yeah, should I get you an edit link in particular, or are you good with just being able to view?
No, it's fine. I mean,
There we go.
you can lay it on just type my cursor here. I'm actually going to be seeing your screen. So
Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Move to allow edits, and then think.
I'm
Okay,
actually going to move my cursor. There you go. Okay.
there we go. We've got a little anonymous friend. Hello, anonymous friend. If you're an anonymous friend, feel free to give us a shout in the chat. Um, so yeah, all right. So we've officially got collaboration up and running. That's
Yes.
exciting. So all right,
Yeah.
what do I do now?
Uh, okay. So the first thing you need to kind of, I'm going to kind of be giving some context in comparison with other design tools. One of the things that design tools tend to have before, even like those who are like oriented for the web, was the kind of the obvious page. So you have like a blank page where you are supposed to put things kind of inside it. So the first thing about Figma, which is pretty interesting, is that there's no page at all. And
Okay,
like you can pretty much like if you hit like you're gonna see a hand on the top. It's kind of the second to the
okay,
right. There you go. So if you just kind of move yourself like by clicking the hand and just moving to the right and to the left, you're gonna see that we're in kind of on this kind of infinite layout because Figma in a way there's actually a joke about the end of Figma, like the end of the world when like the
mm-hmm.
year was so in theory, there's no end. It's just an infinite layout. And
Okay,
this is something that actually makes a ton of sense for when you're actually working on a browser or for a browser thing, because
yeah,
we have constraints that like in theory we don't have a page, right?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, but even so, we need to actually do something, right? So what I wanted to propose to you is that we could start by building what can you think as the most obvious elements that we can have on a website that every website has, and it's actually something that you can take action on.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about something that's on every website that you can take action on, you're describing a button.
Exactly. So yeah, my proposal is that what if we start by just trying to build one?
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So let's build ourselves a button. Um,
Yep.
all right.
All right.
How? What? Where
How?
should I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some context, you have like a bunch of panels, one on the left and or on the right, and you have like the toolbar on the top. So panels like the what you have on the right, as you are seeing, it's going to allow you to see properties that we're going to see about the different elements.
Okay.
And you have on the left is what basically is called layers. This is typical to most of the design tools where you are going to see all the different elements that you're going to have in your design. So let's start by basically putting some content to the bottom by just setting some text. The way that you set text is that you have two ways. You can click on the element that you have on the top right next to it, yeah, or you can just hit T. So the
Oh
T
wait,
on the keyboard.
you can just hit escape. I
Yeah.
figured that was okay. So yeah, I can just hit T and oh wow.
There you go.
Excellent.
And then you just click. You don't need to kind of set kind of the boundaries. You can just click by it and just start typing. Feel free to kind of. It's the same. I mean, if you want to just go with it, yeah, that's perfect. Just like hit ESC now in order for you to exit the edit mode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh.
There you go. There we go. Perfect. So now we have some text. Okay, and that's always important. The first thing that we're going to change now, just for the sake of you, it seems like you're actually worrying about the size, is that like since you actually click when you were creating the element, you actually created a text element of certain size. But if you go to the right properties panel, you're going to see some properties, right? You're seeing it. What can you discover from what you're seeing there?
Yeah, so I'm seeing, font stuff, so I can make this bigger and I'll just make that very big and I can change like the font weight. So that's cool. I can change the font itself. Let's see, what's rock salt? Oh, that's fun. That's almost like the Friends font in a way.
Yeah,
I can change the fill color, so let's see if I go with yeah. Okay.
Nice. You can also let's do a quick one. You can click on the actual color that you're seeing on the field.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with a nice choice purple. There we go.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And you can okay, good. So we can explore colors later. Something I would like to propose now, so we can have like the size to not be an issue, because you just hit it, started kind of writing, or you increase the size of the font, like the font size, and you kind of wrap into two lines. So you can see that like right next to like when you have like the font size, two lines below that, there. So you're gonna see that those options are to actually have auto. So let's go with auto width, which is gonna, there you go.
Okay.
And like if you like now, if you change the text, can you try to change the size or like the content? Yeah, so it's gonna adapt. It's not gonna kind of wrap into two lines. So that's the first thing. When you have text, unless you wanted to kind of take some space, just leave it at auto width and Figma will do this. And this concept of auto size is going to be something that we're going to be kind of using a lot. So
gotcha.
Okay, good. So we have our text, but what does a typical bottom has, like besides text?
I mean, so a button's usually going to have like a background. It might have, and it's going to have different states as well, right? Like it might have a hover state, it might have a focus state, stuff like that. So.
Yep. All right. So let's start from the first one. So background. States is kind of something that we can explore later, but let's start by actually giving this background.
All right.
So the way you do that is that, and this is something that is kind of unique of Figma, and for those that are used to kind of previous uh, tools, what we typically do is like create a rectangle, put it under like behind it, and
Mhm.
try to center stuff. That's kind of nice, but the thing about Figma is have amazing features. So now what you're gonna do is gonna hit Shift A,
Shift A.
A,
Ooh, it became a
and
frame.
that's good. Yeah. So frames are kind of a Figma kind of. It's not only concept, but it's kind of a Figma concept where they have a bunch of features that are amazing. So now you have converted this text into what it's called a frame, but it's not only that. You have converted to a frame with auto layout. You can see on the right that now we have an
Oh,
auto layout.
yeah.
So uh, let's actually now give it a background. So if you go to the fill section,
Oh,
there
okay.
you go. Yeah.
Got
Like
it.
let's you can change for like the color on not in there, but yeah, there you go.
Yep, but I'm just gonna make it so it's you know,
Yep,
there we go. That looks more button-like to me.
absolutely. That looks more about to me too. So great. Okay. So now comes the first thing that is mind blowing to me that I was used to just kind of change sizes. Can
Yeah.
you change now the text of this?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it back to submit because submit form seems a little redundant.
So did you see how like the background just adapted to what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Okay. That's
You could
awesome.
create a second one. You could create a second one
Uh,
by just comment like, can you select it and just hit Command D to duplicate?
ooh,
Not on
okay.
the not on the but on the frame because that actually duplicates the actual element. Let's just delete that.
Okay.
The
So,
way that you select a frame is by actually clicking on the word.
oh,
There
okay.
you go.
Got it. Okay.
Now
Got it.
comment
Got
it.
it.
Okay. And now you could have a second button that has a different text.
All
And
right.
like it's gonna adapt everything. You don't need to change sizes.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
now we have something interesting because now we don't have to actually be need to kind of because again in the past you would have to change rectangle size to
Yeah.
adapt to a text. It was so time consuming, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You know what this
so
reminds me of is like this feels very much so like the CSS box model, right? Where CSS box adjusts to fill to fit the content as opposed to you update the content so now you have to like go back into the CSS and specify a different size.
absolutely, and Figma is very like doing CSS, so that's the part where we're gonna kind of be. I think uh, you're gonna be super kind of easy with it because like you probably have done some of this on CSS already. So let's delete frame two for now by
Okay.
selecting it.
So I click the word
Oh,
frame 2 and then I delete.
there you go. What we're going to do now is actually keep playing with this auto layout feature,
Okay.
which is one of the most interesting Figma features. So you select that, go for it. Okay. So first of all, let's change the kind of the amount of padding that we
Yeah.
have around the text. And the way you go this, let's see if you can find it.
So it's
There you go.
spacing between items, and then this is padding around items. So I feel like I could go in here and I could go. I'm just gonna make this from 10 to 100, and expect. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's padding in all four directions, right? That's top, bottom, left, and right. Is there a way I
Yep.
can change the top and bottom independently from the left and right?
Yes. If you hit on the icon that you have right next to it, you're going to have
Oh.
individual alignment and the padding.
Okay. Let's play with this. So,
Yep.
I think here I'm gonna. There we go. That looks nice.
Yeah.
That's looking sharp.
Isn't isn't that like the most CSS thing of the word, that menu?
Yeah,
Isn't that how we think about padding and margin count?
absolutely. Wow, that's gelling really well with my mental model. Excellent.
Okay, great. Uh, let's also give it some round in the corners because like you
Yes.
cannot have bottoms these days that are round, right? It's like uh, so you're gonna find that that's not something only of auto layout. You actually have that at a frame level.
Okay.
So if you go to the frame menu on the top, right, up to, you're gonna see that the current. There you
Oh, okay. So if I change this to be like 30, all right. That looks pretty button-like. I'm pretty happy with that.
go. Yeah, that looks good to me.
What if I go very extreme? That's too like. I'm going back to 30. All right.
There you go. You're starting to look like the sheer Figma action. Good. Okay. So what's next? What could an action have like that? It's also pretty typical from an action or words.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Like if you go to any website and you have a, like this kind of actions, you have words. What all of things could be inside that button?
Okay. Yeah. So I could. If it's like a discount, then yeah, it's like you could see something like really long, like apply discount or something like that. Yeah. Just I don't know. Like
Okay.
lots of things could be in buttons. You could have a share button that we've seen. Um.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you could also have an icon, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
So
Um. Yeah.
let's add some icon to it.
All right.
Uh,
So would that be something magic like hitting I? Would that work?
I wish. We have two ways of doing this. We
Okay.
can start by something basic, or we can kind of go all for like different icon sets.
All right.
Whatever you feel like. We could just put a star for now, or we could kind of do it like an icon set. Uh,
Let's
how you feel like
let's go with an icon set. Let's say I'm building like
okay,
a print button and I'm expecting it to like have the word print and then like a printer icon. I'm sure that they'll be pretty
okay,
common.
okay, yeah, for sure. So now we're gonna kind of jump into a kind of a whole different world, which is also mind blowing. But Figma is not only a tool for yourself or for like whoever is working with you in this document. There's also a community of people sharing stuff for you to use in here.
Okay.
So we're gonna explore that via the plugins menu that you have on top.
Ooh.
So it's like plugins right next to window. There you go.
Okay.
So browse. We don't have any plugins yet, so we're gonna browse. There you go. So
All
now
right.
you
What
can
if I
see
go
the
to
most, those are the most popular. And you can, let's see if we can find something icon related.
like Iconify? That seems iconic. Um.
Absolutely.
Let's give it an install. There we go.
Yep,
All right. That was fast. All right. And do I have this
that was
already?
fast.
Let's see. Manage plugins.
Uh,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
All right.
Now, now you're gonna see that if you see on like Figma in a way works as a browser in like the tabs thing. So you
Okay.
can see on the top that you're kind of in this kind of house, like home icon. If you
Mm,
click on again on Untitled, then we're again on the, and you can change the name of this file too. So it's not Untitled. Untitled
yeah.
sounds a bit kind of, so you can change it from like there you
Oh, okay.
go, double click it there.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I'm just gonna call this semantics design overhaul. I've decided I'm going with a different purple or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So all right.
Perfect.
And it's updating the
Great.
tab. That's nice. All right.
So I think in order for the icon to work, you need to actually sometimes you need to reload a certain design. And the way you do that is like right clicking there, reload tab. It's basically like a web view.
Yeah.
And that's something I actually forgot to say. Something really nice about Figma is that it works cross-platform, but also it can work on a browser and on the app. So
Mm,
you can use it on Linux, you can use it on like Mac, you can use it on Windows. That's like before, like for example, Sketch was Mac only. So Windows users weren't able to use Sketch. Well, that was a huge problem for like the community.
gotcha.
This is like nothing like that. All right, so let's try to use the plugin.
All right. So is it?
I'm actually I'm
Uh,
actually looking at comments now because I totally forgot to do that.
yeah.
So
Basically some love for using the community tools. Um, yeah. So
okay,
I guess I checked assets. I thought assets might have been it, but I'm not seeing anything in there.
yeah, not yet. We're gonna play with this later.
Okay.
For now, we need to actually go. If you, we have two ways. The first one is for like I think the most straightforward, which is to just go to plugins. If you kind of go again to plugins, you're gonna
Oh,
see
and then
Iconify, and you can click on it.
Got it.
And now this is going to open this. Let's close it for a second because I'm going to show you the second way of like, and if you have
Yeah.
used Alfred or Spoiler, this might be a bit more straightforward, which is basically to just run command and like you are used to Alfred kind of like command
I haven't used
dash.
Alfred, but you said Spotlight, and I do use Spotlight quite a bit. So is
Yeah,
that command space
it's command.
that opened up my actual Spotlight. It's command.
It's command right next, like command dash. Let's see. Let me just. Yeah, we can figure it out later.
Yeah.
Let's just do it the other way. Like there we go.
All right. Cool.
Okay. So which one do you want to use?
I feel like I'm gonna search for printer and find one that I like. I like this one. Let's go with this one.
Okay,
Ooh.
good.
Okay, that was I on a hunch. I just like clicked and dragged it in, and I've already got it. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm used to
careful.
tools like I use Inkscape, which is a SVG editor. And so what I'm doing now is I'm holding down Shift, which maintains the aspect ratio. When I let go of Shift,
Yeah,
it's all wibbly wobbly, but um,
yeah,
cool. I like that it's using kind of familiar keybinds there to maintain aspect ratio and stuff like that.
yeah. And if you actually hit command like and shift while you do that, it's gonna kind of scale. We can kind of close the iconify thing for a bit, so
Yeah.
I can actually show you some tricks with that.
Okay.
Since you are kind of mentioning scale, let's actually kind of try to do that. So the first you discover by yourself, so you can hit shift, and that basically is gonna allow you to just hit like scale without losing like the constraints. The second way you can actually do this is by hitting the letter K.
Okay.
You're gonna see how on the top. Did you see how to change the icon on the top? You went from like select on the top left.
Oh.
Uh, hit K now.
Oh.
That changes that, right? And you can also do
Oh.
the same if you just kind of use that drop down. What it's going to do is that it converts the kind of the selection into just a scale thing. So you cannot distort if you're in the K mode or in the scale mode.
Ah. Okay.
See?
Nifty.
That's kind of a nifty trick. Uh, we can go back to the not scale one. The third one, the third way of actually kind of changing the size is by actually kind of doing more like in a math way. So if you go to the right, there you go. So those are the position and that's the size. So if you change that, that's gonna distort it.
Yeah.
The way that you make sure that it's not distorted is by clicking on like you have the width, the height, and there you go. So constraints.
And
So
I can
in
go.
that case, you change one, it's going to change the other.
Okay.
There you go.
Nifty.
You're doing it pretty good.
Yeah, because I happen to have like that Inkscape familiarity, this is coming very quickly. This is excellent.
Yeah. All right. So we were trying to put like the icon in the inside button, right? So
yeah.
Let's first try to let's make it a bit smaller.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit more.
Let's try 50. Probably smaller even than that. 100 maybe. That's about the font size. It could take all the finagling in the world, but this will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So here comes another use case that used to be kind of a pain in the ass, which is that when you actually wanted to kind of add one of these, you had to manually kind of move the text and adapt it and align it vertically and kind of calculate stuff. I can teach you how to do that. The thing is that Figma actually has some features in order to not have to do that. So how do we do that? Can you go to the layers on the top left? There you go. So now can we try to put the frame with the printer name Can you see when it says like PXS
Yeah,
printer?
yeah.
Can you put that by just dragging and dropping inside of frame two?
Ooh,
Boom.
ooh, ooh.
And
That's nice.
you can move it. And here's a kind of a nifty trick. If you select it and hit right on your kind of, you're gonna see how
Okay.
that's
Ah.
super like you cannot imagine how hard it was to just do that. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so now we can control stuff in here, and this is pretty convenient. Uh, we can, if you select frame two again,
Yep.
we're going to be able to change the distance between these two elements by just changing. If you go to auto layout, you're going to see there's a 10.
Okay.
Feel free to play with that number.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with something like 25 maybe for now. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's getting somewhere. All right.
I love it. All right, cool. So now it seems like we actually have a bottom with a possible icon, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of puts us at a decent level to be able to kind of hit some kind of publish, and that we have some kind of bottom that we could use for some more stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna change our button color, the icon color. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I'd love to like kind
There
of
we go.
publish this as the first step in our eventual design system.
Absolutely. Let's do one more thing
Okay.
because I'm a bit picky, and also would could teach us like it could show us something else that Figma can do. Can we select frame two again?
You got it.
And where it says like the fill, again, the fill element, rather than just putting a solid color, let's go with that slight gradient for it. So it's like on the
Ooh.
fill, if you select, there you go.
So I click the color, I'm guessing, and
Yeah,
then
yep,
solid. Ooh,
yep.
okay. Which gradient pleases you today? Which gradient sparks
I
joy?
would I would do the linear just because it's simpler to understand and to do it.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so it's going from, it looks like my purple to transparent. Um,
Yep.
and let's say, transparent probably isn't the best thing in the world. So I'm going to instead shamelessly steal the Instagram look with two whole clicks. Instagram, a unique,
Yeah.
unreproducible brand.
We got it. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Oh, that's lovely.
All right. So yeah, so now we have our own action. And I'm gonna suggest one more thing
Okay.
for also for you to be able to see how it is. So one more time I'm gonna ask you to select the frame two. Sorry if I'm being a bit annoying with it.
No, go ahead.
And let's try to hide the icon. So how can you
Okay.
foresee that we could do that?
Well, I'm hovering over my little printer icon here. I'm seeing there's a like lock and then there's an eyeball. What if I click the eyeball? Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I'm impressed that the button adjusted as well. So it's like it's using its contents. It's figuring out its content size based on what's visible and not what's technically in there, which is interesting.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually super pretty handy, right?
Yeah.
Because the next step is what we're going to do now is to actually create our first component, because we haven't
Okay.
talked about components right yet, but it's kind of one of the most it's pretty handy when it comes to design systems, right, and
Yeah.
libraries. So we're going to create a component, and the way that you kind of convert any element, it could be a frame, it could also be text, or it could be whatever, into a component, is by, can you see the icons on the top at the center? You have
Okay.
one that
There's
has like four little, there you go. So if
yeah.
you just, there you go. So
So
create component.
while I'm selecting frame two, click the create component button. Okay.
Yep. So now it has changed. Now it has like a different icon, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing that there's some stuff in here of like description and documentation link and stuff like that, so I can provide more
Yep.
information about this. Okay.
Yeah, let's use this moment to actually change the name of this because frame two might not be
Sure.
pretty interesting for people using this. So let's change it by like you can go to the layers panel on the left and just double click there.
Oh, double click. Oh, that's
Yeah,
even faster. Okay. So should I call this? Actually, how do you like to name your things? Like, is this a call to action? Should I describe this as a gradient button? What would you
yeah.
name this?
I would start by bottom and then start adding variants as we have. So we
Yeah.
can start simple for now.
Sure.
All right, we have our own component now. And the important thing about components and something that you actually need to know about is that like the master component, which is where like the instances are going to be based on. I'm talking about like in a way that it's theory for now, but we're going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
The master component is also on screen. So it's not like you have it on a separate part where you have your components. What designers typically do is create different pages. So for example, one page has all the components. We're
Okay.
not going to create a different page for now, but at least we're going to respect the fact that this is a component. So can we move it a bit to the top just in order to kind of know that this is a component? There.
Yeah. I'm also gonna,
Okay.
I guess, move frame one out of the way as well. Just
Yeah, this one, like, can we just delete it?
yeah, let's do it.
Because this is not, we're going to be based on what we just created. So you're going to see now how we can do different things. Okay. So now if you go to the assets thing on the left,
Local
now it has
components.
changed it, right?
Okay, yeah, it's got my little button here. I can click and drag them. Yeah, nice. So here's what I'm curious about is if I go in, like I figure I should be able to update the text to say like submit. Yeah, I was wondering if it was gonna like start updating my component here, but all this stuff like it's using it's using this as like a set of defaults to begin with, but I can update all these things individually. What if I go the other way? What if I say that this was some? Ooh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
All right. So let's do that. And while you're there, can we go to the layers
Yes.
and kind of show the icon, but only for the instance that you created?
Okay, so this right here is my instance, I think.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically what this allows you is to be able to just have like a master thing for when you can basically create as many instances and change as much text and for example here to show or not show the icon depending on whatever you want to do, but it's the same component. So the interesting thing about this, can we create a third or a second instance?
So I'm gonna come down here and I'll just plop it here. Exciting. I'm gonna call this one search. Okay.
Okay, good. So the interesting thing is that if we change something in the actual master action or the component, what happens? Can we add some kind of shadow to this?
Sure. So
Because
I'm going back here and might be effects. Ooh, drop shadow. Oh, it's already added the drop shadow. Okay. Nice.
yeah,
Looks
you
like I
can
can go
fine tune it.
control. Okay. Fun. And so it's added it to both of my instances over here as well. All right.
So anytime you want to add like something to the master component for all the other instances to respect, you just go and change that.
Okay.
That's kind of the premise of a system library, right? That you don't have to change in all of the places. So now you have your kind of base for your own design system. Congratulations.
That was pretty easy. Okay. That's fun stuff.
Yeah. Anything in particular that you felt like is something that you could like, I don't know, felt hard or like something that
No, I mean everything felt, you know, fairly intuitive. Like even as I was playing around with like the master versus the instances, like those relationships all seemed very intuitive and like what I would hope would happen. So I don't know, like this seems like a pretty intuitive tool. At very least, if you've got some familiarity with in my case, for instance, in like Inkscape. um, then this is a tool that you would be right at home at.
Yeah. And something like just like as an appendix to this part, if you go to any of the instances, what happens if you actually want to kind of just use, I don't know, the side like what you've done, but you don't want to use the same color. You want this to kind of detour from the master. The way you do that is by right clicking on it
Okay. Oh, here, let me
and just
close this.
the
Okay.
first thing you need to do is detach from the instance. So you're gonna have like that option. So if you go again to the layered section,
Yeah.
you're gonna see how this went back to being one of these auto layout frames,
Yeah.
and it's not an instance anymore. So now you can do whatever you want there, and that's not gonna kind of it's gonna allow you to do that. Otherwise, it's not allowed.
Got it. Man, you can get some really cool gradients just by like pointing and clicking on different things. Feeling that ocean vibe right now.
You like gradients? We can install a plugin for gradients maybe and
Oh,
play a bit more with the community thing.
okay. Yeah, let's do a gradient plugin. So I'm gonna go to the plugins up here, browse plugins in community, and is there a particular gradient plugin you like?
You can just search for gradients and we can see what we got.
Okay. Uh, let's see. This.
There's
Uh,
a there's one. Uh, it's also the amount of installs. I've used that the UI gradient
oh
because
yeah.
it actually getting those from the actual website, so they're pretty nice.
Oh, okay. Let's play with this. All right. So there's
Yeah.
that. Then I go back here. I want to see. So I don't have this. So I need to reload the tab.
Yep.
And hopefully that means I will get some gradients to use. Yeah, UI gradients. Okay. So let's.
Yep.
Uh,
So
oop,
let's select the actual.
yeah.
You see where it says like button? There you go. No, you do.
Okay. So
Can we with command C? You are kind of there. You go. Okay.
okay.
Good.
What do
So
I?
let's select the button from like remember that rather than like one way that you can just not go to the panels every time is that you can actually hit the name on the actual kind of layer. So you hit bottom on the top. You see how
Okay.
it says like on top of the button, it says bottom.
Yeah.
If you hit in there, that's gonna select it. So you don't need to go to the layers panel for like
Oh god.
because sometimes going to the layer panel means that I feel like you change kind of you lose some of the contextual of actually playing around with stuff. So
Uh,
by just being able to just select from there, it's pretty convenient. All right.
okay.
So now we have selected the element that has the field. Are we seeing the field in the on the right?
Yes.
All right. So we don't need to do that because that's going to be automatically changed by the plugin.
Okay.
Let's hit the plugin now.
And then go to UI gradients. Gonna think for a sec.
And then the sky's the limit now. You can select whichever you want.
Ooh. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. These
Bam.
are some nice looking gradients there.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Exciting.
that's another way to basically get some gradients for free because we just install a plugin. This is something very magical about Figma that you can just install a plugin and insert some
Yeah.
kind of behavior. So that's very nice.
All right. So at this point, we've got ourselves a couple of buttons. We've played around with components. Is there an area that kind of as because we've got another 10, 15 minutes or so, is there another area of Figma you wanted to show off or another thing you wanted to make?
Uh, I had, I mean, we can explore. You tell me what you prefer. So I have two ideas for now. We
Okay.
can play with the idea of building a to-do list, which
Okay.
might take some time, but we could also reuse some of the knowledge from here. Or we could expand these bottoms to have like variants and stuff that is like more like into like the exercise of having like different versions of the same bottom. You
Uh,
tell me which one you prefer.
let's build out the to-do list. I think like let's build out like
Okay.
a UI. I think.
Good,
So I'm gonna
good,
kind of go off screen here. Hey, it's Martin's cursor.
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
there.
yeah, let's make a to-do list.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way you typically do stuff on Figma is to start from the very basics. So the basics here are going to be like let's do a to-do list that has like a title that we can put like a name or whatever.
Okay.
Then a subtitle where it could be a description, and right next to it some kind of avatar. So
Got it.
maybe it's not a to-do list, but a contact list. Let's call it a contact list, so it's more
Yeah.
like uh, I don't know, friendly at the same time.
Yeah.
So
So
let's
type out
yeah.
some text and um, I guess I'm gonna give this a
Yeah,
Ravado or something
let's
like
be a bit let's be more safe.
and give it I guess make it black weight and then
Uh, a shortcut for that, hit Command B.
oh command B okay and that's cycling between normal and bold it seems okay
Yep.
so uh subtitle we could call it well I guess if it's a contact list I'm gonna go ahead and put in Ben at example.com and then
Great.
we talked about an avatar which might be I
Let's.
guess a circle.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, did I just see place image? Huh. Okay.
Mhm. And you can use that, but we can do better than that. So don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll have.
There you go.
That seems like a good contact layout, perhaps. Maybe I'll.
Let's do one. Let's do one more thing, and also we can change there. So rather than do that, can we go back to 48?
Yeah.
I want to show you a trick.
Okay.
So if you go to the where it says 48,
yeah.
Can you hit not on the selection, but on the actual name without like on the number without doing anything? Can you hit command?
Command.
Without, I think it's without it's selected. Just
oh, okay.
try it for a bit. No, sorry, it was option, not command.
Option.
Bad on me. There you go. You can see how it changed like the icon of the cursor, right? So now.
Oh,
There you go.
okay, got it. So I can, what I'm doing is I'm holding down option and I'm clicking and dragging and I can move this left and right. That's fun.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun.
Yep.
All right.
And you there you go. Okay, good.
All right.
All right. So something we're missing in order to have all the elements. Let's add some kind of. What would you put like right? Maybe like those three dots or like more options on the right of the element.
Yes, somewhere over here. Is that like our? I guess I might be able to do that as an icon.
Yeah, we could do that.
Well, is there a way you prefer to do it?
It's fine. I think it's we could call like expand or like I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, here's one.
Yep. There we go.
So I called it menu. Is what I called it. All right.
Perfect.
So I'll make this a little bigger. There we go.
Great. Ooh. And remember that you can select the entire thing. There you go. I always perfect. And all the time Figma gives you while you're dragging stuff, you can see how it gives some kind of guides, right? Can you try to do what you just did? And you can see how it helps you to actually align into the middle.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice, right?
That's pretty nice, yes.
And this is something that I'm pretty picky when it comes to alignment and all that. So I used to kind of play a lot with this, but what we're going to do now is to actually use the computer to do that because we have better things to do, right?
Yeah.
So let's go to auto layout again.
Right.
And the way that we're going to do auto layout first is to select first the title and subtitle. That's the first thing we're going to convert into an auto layout.
Okay. So I held shift and I clicked both of those and it seems like it's selecting both of them.
Perfect. Yep.
All right.
And now you go with shift A. That's the shortcut for auto layout.
Oh, okay.
And now what we got is like this frame that has auto layout, and we can separate automatically. The computer can separate the elements for ourselves. So if you go to the auto layout menu on the right.
All right. Anything in particular over here?
The separation is the second element. There you go. So
Okay.
space between items. If you want to increase that, for example,
10.
you can.
Okay.
And remember that you can, rather than just like this is like an input on the browser, rather than just setting the number, also you can select the number and just hit up and down.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. So
To fine tune stuff. There you go.
yeah. So I'm gonna
Multiple ways of doing the same, basically.
Yeah. All right.
Can we select that frame one again? I want to show you something this is gonna make you remember like flex a lot.
Okay.
Can you change the arrows to use the other arrow in the auto layout?
Okay. So this is oh. Okay. Yeah. Got it. So that's flex direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I guess
It
might be
automatically like it sends you to the direction to be like column because you had the element right beneath it. But if you put like one next to the other, it's gonna put it on the other side. So it's like pretty magical, like the auto layout thing.
Got it.
Okay, good. Now that we have the reason we created auto layout for these two texts is to have those separated but also aligned on the left, right? You don't have to manually align those. It's gonna automatically. Can we check? Can you select the box that's on the right of auto layout?
Oh yes. Let me get back
No, sorry,
here and then this one alignment.
There you
padding. Go. Okay.
Yeah. We could, for example, in this case, you put like something that they look like the same size, but can we change them at example.com to be a bit longer so we can actually see some of the stuff? There you go. There you go. So now if you
Okay, so I'm going back to frame one.
Perfect.
And back here. Okay.
Can we try to align them to the right?
Yep, we sure can.
See, you don't need to do that manually. That's actually something that's super handy. Let's go back to the left because it's pretty standard kind of alignment. There you go, for text, at least for Occidental people. Now, let's create an auto layout for the entire row, right? For the entire element. So the way you do that is just like you can select everything by you don't need to hit shift. You just like if you kind of draw.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, it's gonna give me a hint. There we go. All right. Cool. So I've selected everything, and it looks like it's selected the frame and not the individual text items inside the frame. Cool.
Because the frame is the parent. So now the frame is the kind of thing. So how do we create auto layout for this?
Command A. Okay. It seems like it's picked
It's actually
up.
Shift A.
Oh, is it Shift A? Oh, Command A selected everything, I'm guessing. Shift A. God, ooh, look at that. All right. And now...
And you can see how it, by default, it changes some of the stuff, right? There you go.
Ooh, yes. Okay, so if I could say I wanted things to align along the bottom. And here, the avatar is the same height as the title and subtitle, but I'm guessing it would bounce around as well if it were a different size. Okay.
We can change that too.
Yeah. Let's do that for just a hot minute. Nice.
You know what? You actually don't need to do that, and this is where this comes interesting. Let's unset this, but you can see how like the moment you resize it, it actually puts on the center, right? Because it's respecting the auto layout. So, but other way that you can do that is by actually kind of making the avatar to be an auto layout too, because they can be as many as auto layouts and nested as you want.
Interesting.
And it's not only for alignment; it's also for like sizing. So let's hit on Shift A one more time.
Okay.
Can you see the padding in there?
Yeah,
it adds some padding by default.
Okay, and I could update that to be padding 20 or padding 0. Oh, oh, I'm just gonna do a bit of chaos. What if I put in a negative number? That does nothing. That resets it.
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I wanted to see if there was a way you could do negative padding and what the heck could possibly mean. All right.
Luckily, it's not like a browser, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we could do two things in here. It seems like you're using your name, so maybe we could place like an image of yourself on the avatar, or we
Yeah.
could place a random image, whichever you prefer.
So
We could play with the Unsplash API.
let's
So
do that. Because I don't want to have to find where my image is in my file system. So probably browse plugins says I did see
yep,
Unsplash here. Install that. Go back here. I'm gonna assume it hasn't already added that to my plugins, so I'm gonna reload everything. It's gonna think got Unsplash here. Let's see. What if so I've selected this.
yes.
Image? No, there's no image.
You actually need to. Can we select? You have the frame. Good. Can we go to plugins
You
and
got it.
select Unsplash?
Okay. There we go. And portrait. That was not what I was expecting.
Gonna set. It's actually gonna. The thing is that it's actually. Can we remove the actual? Because we have like inside it, we have the actual this circle. We need to actually just not set the circle, but just set like something like. But you can do it on the ellipse too. So actually, you can do it on the ellipse if you want. So
okay.
can we undo and do?
Undo.
Let's undo twice.
Okay, so that way we're back to our ellipse. All right.
There you go. So the way you select something and like because like by default, if you go with your cursor, it's gonna select like the parent element. You go the way you hijack that and you try to go like indirectly into an element so you don't have to go to the right to the left menu. Can we unselect everything? Just click on any part. There you go. If you hover that with command being pressed.
Okay, so I'm holding command and it looks like it's
outlining
my ellipse.
There you go.
So then I click it and it's drilled down to the ellipse.
Now it's selected one. And now let's do the Unsplash thing on the ellipse.
Unsplash. Sticking a portrait. There we go. Spitting image of me.
There you go.
All right.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right. All right. So we have the center. We have like let's convert this. Are we set with like probably we need to kind of do something. Let's convert everything. Oh, it's already okay, good. So what happens if you try to resize this from the
if I try to resize
so
the frame?
what happens if you yeah, but especially like I'm more kind of concerned with for now let's just do only horizontal kind of change to see what happens if it's responsive basically.
Right, it's not really responsive, it's just changing the padding basically.
Yeah, it's basically so we're gonna change that, but first let's add some background so we can actually kind of recognize what is the element.
So fill and I guess I'll leave it like that for now.
And with some padding, so we have like some separation.
Okay, internal padding or I guess here. So, so I'm trying numbers. It doesn't seem
Didn't change the. It's because it's. Can we change the fixed? Let me see what. Can we change the fixed width and like you see on the resizing thing right beneath it? Resizing element.
Yeah.
No, it's that one. Can we change that to be high content?
We sure can. Okay, so now I can go in and say...
And the same for the the same for the height, by the way.
Got it.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
Good. Okay. Okay, so let's try again the resizing, the horizontal resize. People on the chat actually so it's chat as give me some compliments for you. Live in effect.
Yes. Yeah, so still okay. So I can shrink this down and the content overflows the white box. Okay.
it's kind of it's kind of not great, right? What happens if you actually make it bigger? Let's start from solving like what happens if it goes like to be big. There you go.
Yeah.
So it just basically centers everything, right?
Yes.
But we don't want that, right? What's the typical responsive behavior for this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, if it's getting wider, then we might start putting things on one line, or we might at least increase the padding between elements, spread the elements out away from each other. Um, would be, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So the typical, or what I would recommend this case, is to kind of keep like the avatar and the text on the left and move basically the actions icon to the rightmost, right?
Yeah.
So let's start by changing on this frame. Can we go to the actual alignment icon that you have on the auto layout?
Yes. So this one, right?
Let's put it center. Let's put it center, but aligned to the left.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so that's the first step. Now at least some elements are where they are supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Let's now try to put like the three dots to be on the right. And the way that we're going to do is actually by changing not the three dots, because you don't have a margin left auto like you could have on Flex, but let's actually make something with the actual text layer.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think it's frame 1. Okay,
frame
good.
one. Yeah.
And this is the first time we're going to play with this option. So this is a new one. On the resizing menu,
Yes. Fill container.
let's go down. Yep.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Let me resize just a bit so I can actually see everything in one go. But yeah, that's okay. That's already pretty nifty. That's fun.
Some shortcut for zoom. You can hit Command minus and Command plus to change the zoom of your.
Okay. Command plus. Yeah, I am still gonna pan though. All right, there we go. So now,
if you hit Command dot.
Oh, Command dot. Oh, okay. Very neat.
It disappears. Basically, you can. So all right. So now it's a bit better, right?
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's better. Okay. Let's do one more thing. Let's do it so when you actually contract, the text isn't kind of doing what it's doing right now. Because if you contract now, and like you're gonna see how the text kind of goes over. There you go, right? So let's make it not to do that. And the way that we are gonna do that is actually we're gonna get into the text. Let's first select the text frame.
Okay, so that's frame 1.
And now I'm gonna show you another trick. I'm going to show you another trick, which is like, how do you select all the elements inside a frame? Can you hit enter?
Okay.
Did you see what it did?
Yeah.
It got into the frame and actually selected the element for you. All right, so now we're going to play with the resizing element again. So rather than hide content on the resizing, let's go with fill container again.
Okay, fill container, and on both of them?
On both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. No, on none of the. There's no need for the vertical one. Let's just keep it as it was. And we're just playing with horizontal stuff for that.
All right. So both of them.
All right. Let's try to resize it one more time.
Okay.
The entire frame.
Yep. Oh, it's wrapping. Okay.
Yeah. So we can play with the vertical thing and kind of pretty much do the same, but like just for the sake of the exercise, let's keep it at just like horizontal. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we got a responsive item on a design tool. You cannot imagine how impossible this was in the previous iteration for this tool. So this is like pretty impressive for just a design tool. And this was something that you could only do on the browser.
And like, you don't need this tool to like be 100% fireproof. You just need it to be able to support even some of this, like make it like a possibility, that already opens up so many doors. Like, yeah, the fact that like we haven't even really handled this edge case, like that's fine. Just the fact that we can even handle some of this is incredibly helpful. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Let's complete it.
Yeah,
Can we duplicate this?
let's do
Because
it.
right now it's not kind of a
So
content list.
select the frame and then
Can
Command
we do
D.
it first a bit more like
What's up? I did.
can we do it a bit kind of a bit wider so
Oh
we can
yeah,
play with more like because we're gonna introduce new names.
got it. Okay, let me find. Okay, so here's my. There we go. Make it a bit wider first. Is that good?
There we go.
All right. Then
Perfect.
that.
So remember the shortcut to duplicate an element?
That was
Yeah,
Command D.
You hit Command D, right?
Yep. I'm just
Perfect.
gonna stack these on top just for better viewability, but there we go. Cool. All right. So I have a
All right.
second contact item.
Can you select and hit Command D one more time?
Yes. D. Then move this. Well, like the placement guide, so it's excellent.
That should be
All right.
okay. Great. It should have like because of something. By in theory, Figma kind of recognize when you're aligning elements and you hit Command D and it places it like right beneath it. It didn't work in this time, but like it's something that typically works. Okay, so let's select the three elements.
Select all three of these.
Yeah. And guess what?
What's up?
What are we gonna do?
I'm guessing making this an auto layout. That would be my guess. Am I right? Okay, so that's Shift A.
You're absolutely right.
All right, so it's an auto layout now.
Good. Yeah. The good thing is that now we can kind of change the separation between these zero for a moment.
Oh, okay, yes.
And you can fine tune that if you want.
Yeah, make this even like short. Give us. There we go. Okay, that's fun.
All right. All right. So the interesting thing is, can you select one of those? Like, can you select the entire thing?
Yes. Selected the entire thing.
Hit Enter. So we get into it.
Okay.
Now let's select one of those, whichever you prefer.
All right. Let's
by just going not in there, but just in the actual interface.
Okay. So all right. So I'm on the middle contact. I'm getting like all the stuff in the contact. Okay.
Okay. Can we do Command D to duplicate?
Ah, nice. Okay. Yes. So it's second just below. That's cool.
All right. So now, in order to kind of complete the exercise, let's actually add different faces and texts, so different meanings. And we're not going to do that manually. We're going to use plugins to do that.
Okay. So let's.
What I'm going to ask you, before we hit, let's first change the. Well, we can do whichever you want. Do you want to change the text first or the images, whichever you prefer?
Let's go ahead and change the text. So there we go.
Okay. We need a new plugin for that.
Oh, okay. We're getting a new plugin. Oh, is it going to provide like sample names for us? Like, okay.
Cool. Absolutely.
So I'm here. Search.
The name is.
Good.
The name of the plugin is Content Real. Okay. Oh, you got it in there. It's slightly more popular.
One word maybe. Ooh. Okay,
it's just real.
Real.
Not real like real, but real like from like a movie reel.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My English is being like.
Content reel. Okay, got it. All right, and text strings, images, icons from one palette. Okay, all right. Now I can go back here and probably go ahead and instantly reload this. All right. Cool. So now do I go like all the way
right?
into the text?
So
Part?
now we're gonna use this trick that like we talked about, which is when you hit command, to select
Yeah.
particular individual elements. So
Command.
we're gonna hit command and there you go. Now we're gonna go command plus shift in order to select another element for the other title.
Oh, 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 command and shift, not command. But okay, good. So I'm selecting this one. Now would it be all the names or the other email? The
Yeah,
the email?
all the names.
The names. Got it. Okay.
No, no, not the email for now. Let's just go
Yeah.
names. There you go. Okay.
Okay. All the names. So I've selected each of these three
And now
non-viruses.
let's hit.
So probably go back to plugins, content reel,
Let's hit plugin.
and then it's gonna welcome me. Oop, that was not what I needed. Here we go. Oh, full name first last. That's probably it. Apply all. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's good. All right. I'm guessing I can go in and oh, so I need command and then hold down shift as well. So command shift and then click these. And there's probably, if I go back, probably emails. Maybe not.
Mm-hmm. I think you need to sign in to do that. So let's change it to like, I think if you go to the text section,
Oh, there is email.
you're gonna see some. I think it's job description. Or, oh, there's email. Okay, good.
Yeah, let's see if that. Okay, yeah, exciting. All right, and then different avatars. We probably would want to, and click this one, shift, shift. All right, and are we going to use content reels avatars for this? Or are we going back into
No,
Unsplash?
we're gonna use Unsplash.
Okay.
I like Unsplash more, but you could use this if you want.
I'm running these, and then where's the avatar? I know there was like, oh, here's portrait. There we go.
Yep.
Nice. Oh, it's looking really good.
Can you try to just like for the sake of like the responsiveness to play with the width for now?
With the width of all of them at one go. Like, okay, so oh,
Yep.
what is it finding there? Why isn't it?
You're. It's not doing that. Like, wait, you're not resizing it. Yeah, let's unselect everything for a second.
Yep. Everything's unselected.
Let's select frame 5 one more time.
Frame 5, okay.
And now, like, go to the right. You don't need to go to the corner. You can go to every kind of position of on the right side.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me make this.
So you just.
I don't know why it's not selecting things. That's interesting.
Is this an auto layout? It is an auto layout. Oh, yeah, because we actually might have not be doing like because when you resize this, it might not be doing. So what we need to do is, can we hit enter into this?
Yeah, you got it. All right, so each of those are selected.
Hit the enter to select all the cards. Yep. And now we need to fill. There you go. So fix width on the resizing.
To fill container.
Let's change it to fill container.
Okay. And we probably don't need to worry about the height.
Yeah. And now
I should be.
Yeah. Let's keep it simple.
Excellent. Okay. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's
So
a
we have our contact list,
yeah.
and we could add more things, but it's
Yeah, I mean, we are a little over time, so uh, I, yeah.
yeah.
But Martine, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on and showing me around. What a neat tool. Um, I think if I design any more sites in the near future, I'll be diving into this because wow, that felt very intuitive, and I'm excited to play around with this more. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And y'all, if you're still here, I see we got a few of y'all around. There's a few things coming up. So this Thursday at 11:30 Central, I'm gonna be on Learn with Jason. That's twitch.tv/J Langsdorf. And I'll be showing off how you can impact screen reader announcements with CSS. And we're gonna start with an introduction to how even do screen readers work. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. You'll have to check that one out. Next week we've got Annemiek Beaufolet coming on. We're going to be playing around with using Elementor to build WordPress sites. I've never actually done a WordPress site, so but something like 60 to 80% of the web is WordPress. So I feel like that's a thing that I should at least have some familiarity with. Um, yeah, so this has been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, and if you have, go go find Martin's Twitter and go follow him because he's done an excellent job today. Um, yeah, thank you all for coming, and I will see you later. Bye.